धारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरावनचारि हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Shri Radhe. Radha Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Grantha ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savdvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Nitamsha Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Mate Bhakti Vedānta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paścatya Deshatarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are reciting, this is a verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 14. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ tathā kartā, karaṇaṁ ca pṛthag-vidham, vividhāś pṛthak-ceṣṭā, daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam, adhiṣṭhānaṁ tathā kartā, karaṇaṁ ca pṛthag-vidham, vividhāś pṛthak-ceṣṭā, daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam, adhiṣṭhānaṁ tathā kartā, karaṇaṁ ca pṛthag-vidham, vividhāś pṛthak-ceṣṭā, daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam. Vividhāś pṛthak-ceṣṭā, daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam, adhiṣṭhānaṁ tathā kartā, karaṇaṁ ca pṛthag-vidham, vividhāś pṛthak-ceṣṭā, daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ, the place, tathā, also, kartā, the worker, karaṇaṁ, instruments, ca, and, pṛthak-vidham, of different kinds, vividhāḥ, various, ca, and, pṛthak, separate, ceṣṭā, endeavors, the endeavors, daivaṁ, the supreme, ca, also, eva, certainly, atra, here, pañcamam, the fifth. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedānta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the Supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. Purport. The word adhiṣṭhānaṁ refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of activity and is therefore known as kartā, the doer. That the soul is the knower and the doer is stated in the śruti. Esha hi draṣṭā, sraṣṭā. Praśna Upaniṣad 4.9. It is also confirmed in the Vedānta-sūtra by the verse Gyota eva 2.3.18 and kartā śāstrārthavattvāt 2.3.33. The instruments of action are the senses, and by the senses the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action there is a different endeavor, but all one's activities depend on the will of the Supersoul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. Hare Krishna. So, we are listening to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is chapter 18 and text 14. And this verse is spoken by Krishna. This chapter is called Sannyas Yoga. Srila Prabhupada has given the name the perfection of renunciation. And Arjuna has posed some questions in the beginning of the chapter, in answer to which Krishna is speaking several verses, that what is the difference between Tyaga and Sannyas. And specifically, in the Purport, if you see, Srila Prabhupada goes on to quote one statement from Upanishad and two from Vedānta-sūtra. Very interesting. Actually, Srila Prabhupada is actually quoting Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, because the commentaries of Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, they actually follow Baldev Vidyabhushan. So, this Bhagavad Gita is actually a Upanishad. It is called Gitopanishad. And currently, we are discussing this Upanishad. And therefore, it is appropriate to quote Upanishads and Vedānta-sūtra explaining Gitopanishad. It is quite appropriate to quote Upanishad during discussion of Bhagavad Gita. So, when we are actually approaching a Upanishad, we are trying to approach Bhagavad Gita, which is an Upanishad. So, what is the process of approaching Upanishad? In Shastra, there are 3 steps given. When we are trying to approach an Upanishad, there are 3 steps involved. The first step of approaching Upanishad is Shravanam. The second step of approaching Upanishad is Mananam. And the third step is Nididhyasanam. I think some of you might have heard it. So the first step of approaching an Upanishad is Shravanam. That means listening very carefully. Listening to the message of Upanishad is very, very important. And listening to the message of Vedānta-sūtra, Upanishad and Gita, it is very important. That means we have to give our ears, because the philosophy of Upanishad is not going to be very easy. It is going to take some difficulty. It is going to take some brain tasking. Take some effort on the brain to understand the words which are given in the Upanishad. Therefore, the first step of approaching Upanishad is Shravanam. That means we have to listen very carefully. And with that also comes that how one should not listen. One philosopher, he says that how one should not listen. He says one should not approach Upanishad like an upside down earthen pot. You know, if you approach an Upanishad, keep your ears like an upside earthen pot. What happens when you put water, pour water on top of an upside down earthen pot? The whole water flows to the sides and the pot doesn't get anything. No water is kept in that pot. So this is how one should not listen. One should not listen like an upside down earthen pot. That means one listens to the message but does not get anything. I remember I was giving one class on Samudra Manthan Leela. And one devotee came up to me after the class and he said, Prabhuji, bahut acha class tha. It was very nice class. He was appreciating me. So I said, kya acha laga? What did you like? So I gave a full description of how Samudra Manthan Leela happened and how the Lord took so many forms and he did so many pastimes, wonderful pastimes to do the Samudra Manthan. And at the end of the class, I made that mistake of asking this devotee that what did you understand, what did you get from the entire lecture? He said, Prabhuji, wo Musalman ka ek katha sunaye the na wahi acha laga. There was I had just made one small point about a Muslim community. So he just remembered that one small point. So I was thinking that, why did I ask this question? In the entire Samudra Manthan, all that he understood is this. So this is how one should not listen. So one should not listen like an earthen pot which is upside down. Then one should not listen like a leaky pot. Sometimes we listen to the message of Upanishad, the message of Gita, but the pot is leaky. You listen to something but then you don't hold on to it. It just stays in your mind only for some time, just like a leaky pot. You pour water in the leaky pot, what happens? The water flows down. After some time, it only holds only for some time. So one should not listen like a leaky pot. And one should not listen like a dirty pot. That means that sometimes when we go to listen to the message of Upanishad, we already have some preconceived notion and ideas in our head. And I know what is he going to speak about Upanishad and about Gita Upanishad. So one should not listen like that. So the first step of listening, approaching Upanishad is Shravanam. That means giving our ears to the message. And with open mind one has to listen and one should ask questions. Therefore, that in Upanishad, many questions are asked by different sages. Upanishad is a discussion between sages. And here also it is discussion between Arjuna and Krishna. They are the most intelligent people present at that point of time. So one should ask questions after listening to Upanishad because one will not be able to understand or grasp the entire subject matter in one go. It's not possible. One scientist, his name is Neil Bohr, he commented that if somebody is not shocked and stunned after listening to quantum physics, one has not really understood what quantum physics actually is. And that goes same with the Upanishad. That if somebody is not shocked, he is not stunned, and he is not asking questions after listening to Gita, then one has actually not gone in depth of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, asking questions, listening carefully and asking question is very important step in understanding Bhagavad Gita. So, the first step is Shravanam. The second step is Mananam. Mananam means meditation. It means introspection. So the first step, we get the knowledge. Just like when we listen to Bhagavad Gita, we get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita that we are not the body, we are the soul. But this knowledge is just information, nothing else. Well, Krishna says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. We get the information, it's just information if we have listened to it very carefully. But that has not gone in the heart. We are still not able to comprehend it fully. Therefore, mananam means to churn that knowledge again and again, go back, introspect, and think about it, think about what we have listened. So this is called mananam. So the first step is just information, but after second step, one gets understanding. One starts to understand the message of the Upanishad. Then the third step of approaching Upanishad, it is called nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam means to apply that knowledge. That means one has to apply that knowledge what one has listened to. Because unless the knowledge that we are getting in the Upanishad, in Gita, unless it becomes living reality, what is the use of that knowledge? So therefore, these are the 3 steps. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he was so focused. Today morning, His Holiness Janardhan Maharaj was speaking. He was saying that Prabhupada, he did not just want us to just listen to it. We have to engage our senses in the service of Sri Krishna. So this is the 3rd step. It is called Nididhyasanam. That means one has to apply that knowledge. And this is the method of understanding Gita also. Now, among Upanishad, there are 10 principal Upanishads. Now there are many Upanishads, but 10 principal Upanishad. What are these? So in one verse it is spoken, Ishakena katha prashna mundamandukya taitri aitariyam cha chandogam brihadaranyakam dasham. These are 10 principal Upanishads. Why they are called principal Upanishads? Because Sripad Adi Shankaracharya, who was the first person to comment on the Upanishad, he took among all those available Upanishad, he took these 10 Upanishad and he commented upon them. So what are these? These are called Isha Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Praśna Upaniṣad, Munda Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Aitariya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So these are 10 principal Upanishads. Now here we don't find Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishad. It is not just simple. It is the essence of all the Upanishad, all the knowledge that has been given in the Upanishad. Therefore, in his Bhagavad Gita Mahatmya, Sripad Adi Shankaracharya, he says, Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Parthavatsa Sudhi Bhokta Dugdham Gita Mritam Mahat. He says that if all the Upanishads, Sarva Upanishado Gavo, if they are like cows, then Dogdha Gopala Nandana, the milkman is Sri Krishna. And Parthavatsa, the first person to get the milk is Arjun. That means he is the calf. And Sudhi Bhokta, and those who are the listeners of this Upanishad, they will be the next ones to get the milk. And the milk itself is that the knowledge of the Upanishad. So therefore, this Bhagavad Gita is the most important among all Upanishad. It is the essence, it is the sar of all the Upanishad. And it is very important to approach this Upanishad in this way. So here, in this particular verse, in 18th chapter, Arjuna posed a question in front of Krishna that, "Oh Krishna, please tell me what is the difference between tyaga and sannyas?" This is a question that Arjuna has posed, and in answer to that, Krishna gives the understanding of what is tyaga and sannyas. But before that, we have to understand how many types of karma is there, because whenever we talk about sannyas or tyaga, that means there will be discussion about karma, that one has to give up certain types of karma, and that is called tyaga or sannyas. So in the Shastra, there are 5 types of karma defined. 5 types of karma. So first karma, the types of karma, the first type, it is called nitya karma. Nitya karma means daily activities. There are some activities that we do daily. We are supposed to do daily. That is the meaning. That means the Vedic injunction, the Vedic literature, they tell us to do certain activities daily. Just like Sandhya Vandanam is a daily activity for Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishyas. For them, Sandhya Vandanam is a daily activity, one must do it. This is an injunction by the Shastra. Bathing, one must do it. These are called Nitya Karma. The second type of karma is called Naimittik Karma. Naimittik Karma, it means these are activities which are done at certain point of time. These are not done daily. Just like those activities which we do during the time of solar or lunar eclipse. We take bath, we sit down, we chant. Chanting is a daily activity. I mean, it's a karma which should be done every day, every moment. But some activities, like during the time of eclipse, certain activities, certain natural course of activities changes. So, like taking bath, going to a tirtha, chanting some mantras. So these are called naimittik activities, naimittik karma. Third karma is called parisankhya karma. Parisankhya karma means these are like once in a lifetime activity. Just like sanskaras, annaprashan sanskaras or vivaha sanskara. These are supposed to be once in a lifetime. I don't know what's the current status of the society. But it should be done once in a lifetime. These are called parisankhya karma. The fourth one is called apavad karma. Apavad means these activities are done only in some emergency. Like if you're in train and you have to chant your Gayatri, how are you going to chant Gayatri? Because Gayatri should be chanted with clean body. One has to take bath before chanting Gayatri. One has to sit down in a clean place. But then at that moment there are certain apavad or emergency activities. One can do mantra snan. I think don't take advantage of mantra snan in cold season. So there are some activities like that which can be done during apavad, during an emergency. Like somebody has to protect one's life. To protect one's life, one has to do certain activity, which is not done generally, which one may not do in the entire life, but it is apavad. So this is called apavad. And the fifth kind of activity, it is called prayaschitta. Prayaschitta karma. Prayaschitta karma are those karma which are done to nullify some sinful acts one has done. So the Shastras define these are the 5 kinds of karma which one should perform. Now when Krishna starts speaking, he says that what is the difference between tyag and sannyas? These are 2 technical words. Now I don't know how to translate this in English. There is no parallel word for tyag and sannyas. Both of them look very similar. But Arjuna has asked this question. Therefore, Krishna, he says that the nitya and naimittik karma, which one is supposed to do, the nitya and naimittik karma is like the sandhya vandanam, and naimittik karma which one does during a certain period of time. If somebody gives up the fruit of those actions, he gives up the fruit, that means he continues to do the action, but he does not have the fruitive mentality in that action, that is called tyag. But in sannyas, there are certain actions which we do to satisfy our senses. These are called kamya karma. This is one other type. In the nitya and naimittik karmas also, in this category, we do certain types of activities which are just to satisfy our senses. Just like eating. Now we eat prasad, that becomes devotional service, but in a general sense. So those activities which are kamya karma, which are done to satisfy one's senses, one gives them up completely. That means one is not engaged in any kind of activity which is to satisfy one's senses. He is not practically, physically involved in them. And the nitya and naimittik karma, which we explained, he gives up the fruit. He gives up the fruitive mentality behind that. So the difference between tyag and sannyas is that in sannyas one actually gives up the karma. This is called karma tyag. And in tyag, one need not give up the karma itself, but one gives up the fruitive mentality behind that karma. So in this discussion only, Krishna has started to speak these verses, and now he says that what are the causes of accomplishment of action. Like we perform some actions, what causes it to get accomplished? Who is the cause of accomplishment of action? So Krishna is speaking in verse 13 that, O mighty arm Arjun, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. In the 13th verse, Krishna is speaking. And this is the 14th verse where Krishna gives the list, the 5 items which are the cause of accomplishment of all action. That means when we do some action, what drives it? What are the factors that are driving these actions? Can we say that when we are doing some action, when we are, let's say somebody is going to office and he's doing work and he gets money, he's doing some activity. What is driving that activity? Somebody, the materialist, what they will say? They will say that my work or my effort itself is driving this activity. Isn't it? That's how they will say. It is because I am doing it, this work is happening. But what is Vedanta saying? That's what Krishna says here. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ tathā kartā karaṇaṁ ca pṛthag-vidham vividhāś pṛthak ceṣṭā daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam. So these are the 5 factors that drives accomplishment of any action. First he says adhiṣṭhānaṁ. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ, Srila Prabhupada says, the place of action. The place of action is the body. So the body is one of the cause of accomplishment of action. Yes, we all agree to that. That's what the materialist people, the karmis, they will say. Because I am doing an action, this action is getting accomplished. That is the first, but that's only one. That's like 20%. In 100%, the body or the activities that we are, the body itself is just 20%. Now, tathā kartā. The second is kartā. Who is kartā? Kartā is soul, yes. But can soul do material activity? Soul is on the spiritual platform. Therefore, very interesting, actually this is a very interesting point. This is why Srila Prabhupada, he quotes these sections, these Upanishads here to prove that point, what you said, that soul is the doer. So he says, yes, the soul is doer, and that's what the Shrutis say. Esha hi draṣṭā sraṣṭā, Praśna Upaniṣad, and the Vedānta-sūtra, Srila Prabhupada goes on to quote that the soul is the doer. But actually, soul, pure soul is not the doer. Pure soul cannot be the doer. The soul who is afflicted or who is afflicted with ahankar, he is the doer. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, commenting on this verse, he says, Tan eva ganayati. That means now Sri Krishna is bringing those 5 items which we have spoken in the last verse. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ shariram. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ means the body. Kartā. Kartā, he defines who is kartā. Chit jad granthir ahankara. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the second item in this list where he is saying karta means chit jad granthi ahankara. This is a very technical term and something that we should look at. Chit jad granthi ahankara. Ahankara means what? How do you define ahankar? False ego. Yes, that's how Srila Prabhupada defined. Anything else? I am the doer. Yes. Very nice, but our Shastras give a very technical term to exactly define ahankar. Now what is chit? Chit means spiritual. What is jad? Jad means material. And what is granthi? Granthi means knot. So ahankar is that knot which binds, that knot between material and spiritual. That is called ahankar. Now, to further explain this, to further understand this ahankar, what is the meaning of knot? Knot is something like, it is tied up. So, ahankar is something that ties the spiritual being, soul, to the material world. That is the granthi. And unless somebody cuts this knot, one will never be able to go back home, back to Godhead. This is the exact cause of we being in the material world. Ahankar is the last thing that must be purified before going to Vaikuntha. In our Sampradaya, in Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, in the line of disciplic succession, which starts from Krishna and then goes to Brahma and then Vyasadeva Madhvacharya, Srila Prabhupada has given a list in our Bhagavad Gita. The 16th number, the 16th personality in the list, he is Vyasatirtha. Vyasatirtha comes from the Madhva Sampradaya. And very interesting story about Vyasatirtha. That Vyasatirtha, Sripad Vyasatirtha had many, many disciples. And one of the foremost disciple of Vyasatirtha was Kanakadasa. Those who are from South India will understand, might have heard about Kanakadas. If you go to Udupi, the temple is actually, there behind the temple there is a window. It is called Kanakera Khidki. Kanakera Khidki means, actually Kanakdas was born in Shudra family. And one time he went to take darshan of Udupi Sri Krishna. But the Pandits or the Brahmanas, they did not allow him to go inside. So they were chastising him. In fact, they started beating him behind the temple. So the Lord, who is so merciful to his devotees, he wants to give darshan to his devotees. The deity actually turned to his another side. And the wall at the back side of the temple broke apart. And the Lord gave darshan to Kanakadas. So that Kanakadas, Kanakera Khidki, that is called Kanakera Khidki. That means one can actually see the Lord from that place also. So Kanakadas was one of the prominent disciple of Vyasatirtha. And one time Vyasatirtha, with all his disciples around, he thought, I will do a test. I'll put up a test upon all my disciples. So he told all his disciples, he gave one fruit to all his disciples. And he said that all of you go to a place where nobody sees you, you are completely alone, and then eat that fruit and come back to me. So all the disciples, they went to several other places. Somebody went to a forest, somebody went to the mountains, somebody went inside the altar. And everybody came. After one day, everybody came to meet him. And Vyasatirtha asked everyone that, did you eat the fruit? He said, yes, I ate the fruit. I went to the forest and nobody was around and nobody saw me, and then I ate the fruit. So everybody ate the fruit, but Kanakadas, he did not eat the fruit. Kanakadas, he was asked by Vyasatirtha that, Kanak, why did you not eat the fruit? Kanakadas says that, oh Lord, oh Master, that Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is residing in everyone's heart, he is residing in each and every atom. I can see him everywhere. How can I find a place which is completely solitary? So I went to several places, but I did not find any place where I was alone. I was always with the Lord. So Vyasatirtha, he became very happy. Now all these disciples of Vyasatirtha, the other disciples, they were quite envious of Kanakadas because he got lot of attention from his spiritual master. And all other disciples, they were not getting any attention. And although he was born in Shudra family, others, they were born in Brahmin family. But they were not getting any attention. Now, everybody started to raise question that he is just an imposter. He is simply lying. How can he see the Lord everywhere? He is born in Shudra family. So Sripad Vyasatirtha, he said, no. All of you have not actually got the real knowledge of the scriptures. You have not realized that knowledge. And therefore you are not able to see the Lord everywhere. Now I am going to ask another question to Kanakadas. Sripad Vyasatirtha goes on to ask another question to Kanakadas that, oh Kanak, please tell me, you are so realized, you know the Lord who is sitting within his heart, within the heart of all the jivas, you can see him everywhere. Sarva bhuteshu yah paschet bhagavad bhava atmani. So please tell me, how many of my disciples will actually go to Vaikuntha? This is the question which his spiritual master asked. So one by one, Vyasatirtha started raising one disciple and he started asking about him. So please tell me, will my disciple Paramanandacharya, will he go back to Vaikuntha? Very humbly, because it is an instruction given by the spiritual master, Kanak Das, very humbly, he says, my master, I am no one to judge anyone. But because you are asking, I am going to give you an answer. He said that Paramananda Acharya, he is very well learned in the scriptures. He knows all the shastras. He can recite the Vedas very well. He knows the meter, the chanda of reciting many Vedic mantras. He is very well learned. But my dear master, the Lord of the Vaikuntha, he is in no need of Chaturvedis. Therefore, although Paramananda Acharya is very well learned in the scriptures, he will not go back to Vaikuntha. Paramananda Acharya was shocked. The Guru, Vyasatirtha, in front of the Guru, this conversation is being done. So then Vyasatirtha goes on to ask about another of his disciples. He said, can you please tell me whether this Vivekananda Acharya, disciple of mine, will he go back to Vaikuntha? Kanakdas replied, he is very, very austere. He does lot of austerity. He goes to the forest. He doesn't eat for many, many days. But the Lord of Vaikuntha, he is in no need of yogis in Vaikuntha. Therefore, Vivekananda Acharya will also not go to Vaikuntha. And one by one, he asked about each and every disciple, and Kanak Das went on to say that he will not go to Vaikuntha. He will not go to Vaikuntha because the Lord is only pleased by bhakti. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gunair bhakti priyo madhava. Lord is only pleased by bhakti. Then everybody was enraged. They were all just wanting to beat Kanak Das. But Vyasatirtha stopped them. After all the disciples, he asked about all the disciples, then Vyasatirtha went on to say that, O Kanak Das, I am going to ask you one last question. This is very, very important question. Can you please tell me whether I will go to Vaikuntha? Very Kanak Das, he pays obeisances to his spiritual master Vyasatirtha. He goes on to say that, my dear master, you are the spiritual master of entire world. You represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead on this material planet. You are the rightful heir of the kingdom of God. But in this particular question that you have asked, the answer to this particular question is that you also will not go back to Vaikuntha. Now all the disciples, they were enraged. They started raising voices. They said, he is a Guru Drohi, one must kill him now. Now everybody was shocked. Vyasatirtha, the spiritual master of the world, he will not go to Vaikuntha. What are you saying, Kanak Das? Vyasatirtha stopped everyone. He said, Kanak Das, I am going to ask you one last question. This is very important question. O Kanak Das, can you please tell me whether you will go to Vaikuntha? Kanakdas very humbly offers his obeisances to his spiritual master Vyasatirtha. He says that, my dear master, I am born in Shudra family. I am the most wretched, the most unqualified. But in answer to this particular question, my answer is, if I will go, I may go to Vaikuntha. All the disciples, they were enraged. They said, just look at his audacity. He says the spiritual master will not go to Vaikuntha, but I will go to Vaikuntha. Kanakdas, he offered his obeisances. He stood with his palms closed. Then Vyasatirtha became very happy. He stood up and he gave all his blessings to Kanakdas. The disciples were confused. What is this happening? Then Vyasatirtha explained. Vyasatirtha explains that what Kanakdas has told just now is the essence of all the scriptures. Kanakdas said that if I will go, I may go to Vaikuntha. That I is Ahankar. So this, if Ahankar will go, then a person becomes qualified to go to Vaikuntha. So this is where we were just discussing that Chit Jad Granthi. This is the root cause of we being in the material world. Chit Jad Granthi is that Ahankar. If Ahankar will go, then one will become qualified to go to Vaikuntha. So the second part of this is Ahankar. We were discussing kartā, right? That what are the causes of accomplishment of work? The first cause is the body. The second is Atma, which is with Ahankar, not the Shuddha Atma, the false ego. With false ego, the Atma which is connected to the false ego. That is the second. Then the third is, the third is the various senses, karaṇaṁ. Karaṇaṁ means the various senses. With the senses one performs a work, right? So these are also one factor. If somebody does not have senses, one will not be able to perform that work and one will not be able to accomplish that work. Therefore karaṇaṁ. Then he says pṛthag-vidham. Pṛthak-vidham means ceṣṭā. Ceṣṭā means different kinds of endeavor. This is the fourth item. So the first is body, second is ahankari yukta atma, the third is the senses, the fourth is different kinds of endeavor. Because if somebody endeavors, then only one will get to accomplish the work. One may have the body, one may have the senses, but if somebody is not endeavoring, one will not accomplish. And the fifth one is pañcamam cha daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam. Daivam means the Supersoul. That means the Supreme Lord. And the fifth one, that is the ultimate cause. Like, that means that if somebody has the body, somebody has the senses, somebody is also yukt with ahankar, the third item, the second item, and somebody has the senses, and also somebody engages in activities, but will one be able to accomplish the work? No. Without the help of Supreme Lord, without the sanction of the Supersoul, one will never be able to accomplish one's work. Therefore, sometimes we try to accomplish some work, like somebody goes to prepare for UPSC and he wants to clear, he wants to become an IAS. One does the endeavor, one has the senses, one takes up the right guidance, and still one is not able to clear up the exam. Why? Because the Supersoul did not give permission. And this is applicable to all kinds of activities. Unless the Supersoul gives the permission, one will not be able to accomplish the work. Therefore, the fifth item is daiva cha daivaṁ, caivātra, pañcamam. The fifth item is the most important item. And Srila Prabhupada, in this connection, he says, but all one's activities depend on the will of the Supersoul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. The Supreme Lord is a super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of Supersoul situated within the heart is naturally not bound to any activity. Now, any activity which is done with the help of these 5 items, they are actually binding. There is a karmic bandhan which comes up with that. But Srila Prabhupada, he says that when we do activities in Krishna consciousness, that does not lead to bondage. Therefore, for us as devotees, the most important activity is bhakti, is devotional service. Because when we perform devotional service, then one is not bound by the actions one performs in this world. One time, I was just reading one book written by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, the recently published one, the dancing white elephants. So there Maharaj writes that one time Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he went to Srila Prabhupada, and he was working so hard for the Mayapur land. It comes up in the Leelamrit also. And he was going on and meeting so many people. He was going to the police, then he was going and meeting many people trying to get that land. And Prabhupada was so anxious about it. So when he actually accomplished that work, he came to Prabhupada and he said that, Prabhupada, I am working hard. I am working so hard to get this mission done. But I do not know whether I will be able to remember Krishna. If death strikes at this point of time, whether I will be able to remember Krishna. I am working hard for you because you are giving me instruction. So that time Srila Prabhupada, he said that do not worry. Because you are working for me, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will forcibly enter your mind and he will remind you of Krishna, and then you will go back home, back to Godhead. So continue to work. So therefore, engagement in Krishna consciousness is the most important activity. And this is why we should not worry about what kind of, we have to take care of the injunctions of the Shastras in our daily lives. But the most important activity is engaging ourselves in devotional activities, chanting, hearing, book distribution, serving the devotees, serving the deities. That is the most important activity. Therefore, in Manah Siksha, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he gives Siksha, he gives instruction to the mind. And in one of the instruction he says, Na dharmam na dharmam shruti gana niruktam kila kuro vraje radha krishna prachura paricharya mihatano Shachishu no nandishwarapati sutatve guruvaram Mukunda preshtatve smara paramajashram nanumanaha. He says that, O mind, do not worry about the injunctions about dharma and adharma. Take care of those injunctions because a devotee will naturally engage in dharma. But he says, do not worry about that. That how many nitya naimittik karmas and apad karma and parisankhya karma we are doing. There is no need to worry about that. Na dharmam na dharmam shruti gana niruktam kila kuru. What one should do? He says, vraje radha krishna paricharati prachura paricharya mihatanu. Engage your body in serving Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Vraje Radha Krishna prachura paricharya ihatanu. And Shachi Shunu Nandi Shwarapati Sutatve Guruvaram. And always understand, keep this in your mind, that Shachi Shunu, Shriman Mahaprabhu, is none other than Shri Krishna, Nandasunu. Shachi Shunu is Nandasunu. And Guru, Shri Guru, spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who is he? Mukunda preshtatve smara paramajashram nanumanaha. And in this way you continue to engage in devotional service, continue to serve Radha Krishna in Vrindavan with knowing that Shriman Mahaprabhu is Shri Krishna and Shri Guru is very dear devotee of Shri Krishna. With this, you continue to engage in devotional service, and this is the perfection, that one will not be bound by karmic activities in this world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.